Welcome back to another episode of The Only Playbook. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We're happy to be here again and recording our second episode of this week. I'm Sweetcar. I got Shovit, the usuals. How are we feeling today?
Oh, man. You know what just happened?
I don't want to talk about it.
Christian McCaffrey just got hurt, so it's a little gloomy out here in the fantasy world.
Yeah, I have him on my team, number one pick.
Yeah, who's his backup?
Chuba
Hubbard.
Chuba.
But after this game ends, it might be Freeman.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
We'll see.
Chuba Hubbard's nickname should be like Bubba Hubba, like the gum.
I'm sure his
there's
mom.
got to be some kind of name.
I bet his mom calls him Bubba.
Bubba Hubba, Hubba Bubba. Anyways, yeah, morbid start here because we're recording live during Thursday Night Football, right? It's currently going on. Usually we record our episodes on Fridays, but I am actually headed to Brooklyn, New York this weekend, so get to hang out with the GF. Shout out to my GF. And so we're recording Thursday during the game. First quarter, Christian McCaffrey goes down with a hamstring injury is what they called it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you were talking about how quickly they were to
Rule
him out. Which,
Yeah.
What does that mean, like from your perspective?
I mean, they got to take his pants off, first of all. So that takes a while, right? No, but they took him to the tent, and while he was still in the tent, the doctor notified the team that he's not coming back in. So that's not a good sign. Usually they try to stretch it out, warm it up, whatever, but he was pretty sure it was a hamstring, so this is a big deal.
He said, it's the Texans. Don't worry about it. Take a day off.
We'll be good.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Texans are almost in the red zone. 17-6. Rookie quarterback driving the ball.
Well, that statement didn't age very well.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a little late.
Sam Darnold looks pretty good so far in the first half, right?
Yeah.
And DJ Moore's been, I think, the X factor so far.
Yep.
I know you're playing against him, so
Yeah. I didn't want to bring it up.
it's a touchy subject. There's a lot of touchy stuff going on here with this Thursday night
I'm playing
game.
against him in 2 leagues right now and getting murdered 17 points.
It's brutal, guys. It's brutal. But again, we're talking football, and nothing we enjoy more than doing this. So thank you all for joining us. Again, real quickly want to shout out our social media. We talk about it every time. We're on every platform: YouTube, Spotify, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. So yeah, again, we want to be able to put out as much stuff as possible and be able to help you guys out, right, with informative information down to the wire right before Sunday. So feel free to give us a follow. If you're not following us, we talked about it last week. We're hitting on a lot of the stuff that we're predicting, especially from a fantasy start and sit perspective. So again, give us a follow. We really appreciate it, and we are going to continue to just bring you guys as much content as possible.
Yeah, we're also an Anchor FM, so if you don't have Spotify and you want to just listen to us on your desktop or download the Anchor FM app, you can definitely listen to us on there, and it's everything is kosher on there.
And Google Podcasts.
And Google Podcasts, that's right.
We are everywhere.
Yeah, we're basically just all up in your face.
Yeah.
So you might as well listen to us at this point because we're not going away.
In your sleep.
Yeah.
But again, we really appreciate the support so far that we've gotten. It's been amazing. But again, like we were talking about, Thursday Night Football is currently live, so we'll try to update you as the game goes or as the podcast goes if we get big plays or anything that's worth talking about. But let's dive right into this episode. Again, what we're talking about is this week's slate of games. We have I don't know how many games, all the games on Sunday, and then we have Monday Night Football this week. So want to go through all those games. But we're going to start with the first segment that we have been doing on this show so far, and it's my segment, Buy Stock, Sell Stock. I'm going to give you 2 players that I'm buying this week, 2 players that I'm selling this week. So let's just kick it off. First things first, I am going to buy Atlanta Falcons tight end Kyle Pitts. I know Kyle Pitts has been somebody that I think coming out of the draft, everybody was like, it's as surefire as Kyle Pitts, right? There's no boom or bust. There's no what are we going to get from him? He is a bona fide star. Showed that at Florida. And again, 2 weeks in, it hasn't been anything amazing. Obviously, he's still getting some targets, getting some catches here and there, but he hasn't had his breakout game yet. And I am fully expecting week 3 to be his coming out party. They're going against the Giants. Giants through 2 weeks are 29th against opposing tight ends in fantasy points allowed. He led the team in yards last week as well, so it feels like every week that goes, especially for a rookie, he's going to get his feet under him, and it's only going to get better. And like Matt Ryan just needs people, right? He needs reliable targets outside of Calvin Ridley, and Pitts fits that bill. And so I think he's going to be a mismatch for just about anybody on the other side of the defense. Doesn't matter what team he's playing, and I expect week 3 to be his breakout. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I like that. I think from a fantasy perspective, he'll do great, but can he block, though? Because if Matt Ryan can't get him the ball, it's not going to work.
It makes you wonder if eventually they just move him into like a wide receiver role and they bring in their backup like blocking tight end to play tight end.
Honestly, that might work because he basically looks like Julio anyways.
Dude,
so
I didn't even know it was him on the field when we were watching him.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
wearing the single-digit number, I think, right? And he looks just so slender like a receiver. And you're like, that's Kyle Pitts?
Yeah, good pick. I think against the Giants, Kyle Pitts has a coming out party, like you mentioned. So,
I expect it to fully happen. And so that is my first buy of the week, guys. My first sell of the week, and I'm sad to sell this boy because he is my scary Mac Daddy. Terry McLaurin, I am selling this week.
Damn, you're putting your McLaren F1 in the garage?
Yeah, dude. It's tough to park that bad boy in there when she's so pretty, but every once in a while, needs that rest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Terry McLaurin is going to have a really, really tough matchup this week, right? And I don't even know if it just starts with Terry McLaurin himself, but the Bills' defense is formidable. The Redskins are going against the Bills. And my biggest concern is what's Taylor Heineke going to do? And so if he's not getting the ball out quickly, if he can't find McLaurin, if he's getting rushed and he's got to scramble, I think that just poses the biggest roadblock in McLaurin's way from having another successful fantasy week. A couple things I want to note is the Bills... Terry McLaurin has not had back-to-back 100-yard games since he came into the league, right? He had 111 yards or 107 yards last week, something worth noting. And the Bills have held opposing number one receivers to less than 75 yards through 2 weeks. So they are about as tough as a matchup as matchups come.
Yeah.
He's going to be going against Tre'Davious White all game probably just going to get shadowed, and White's one of the best shutdown corners in the league. So I just don't like that matchup. I feel like most people will still feel the need to start him just because of where he's drafted.
Right. They
and
should
probably
start him.
should, right? Yeah, probably should.
Most people don't have the luxury of benching your number one wide receiver.
Right. But I just think you guys should temper your expectations because, again, he's coming off a week where it seemed like every other ball was going to him. I'm not worried about him long term, but this week I am going to sell Terry McLaurin. My second buy of the week is going to be no other than George Kittle. I know a lot of people are wondering about George Kittle because outside of his formidable blocking, he's been really not a non-factor in the passing game, and he's second tight end that goes off the board typically in drafts. So. People expect a lot out of him. I know, Shovet, you expect a lot out of him, and hopefully you're excited to hear that I expect him to pop off in week 3, right? 2 weeks, he's been too good. He's too good to be this subpar. You have to remember that. And like we said, he's doing his thing in the run blocking game, so we know he's healthy. Like, health is not the issue, and that's a big, sigh of relief for most folks because that's what you initially wonder. The Packers ranked 30th against opposing tight ends so far this year, and they've given up 3 touchdowns in 2 weeks to tight ends. And one was Juwan Johnson, who I'm sure nobody's heard of, really.
Yeah, he got 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns week 1. Last week, Hawkinson had a touchdown. So they're giving up touchdowns to tight ends.
Yeah, I like Georgie Porgy. He's been making me lose a lot of sleep, but I did go out and place a trade for him. I traded Elijah Mitchell and Chase for George Kittle. So I am hoping that Kittle has a bounce-back game. I know we talked about last week that he's been blocking, he's been putting the work. Now it's time to do some catching.
Give that boy the ball.
Give him the ball, man.
Feed the beast, honestly.
Yeah.
I am absolutely buying George Kittle week 3. My last sell of the week, guys, I am going to sell Bills running back Devin Singletary. Singletary's coming off a really big game, right? On the stat sheet, it looks like he had a formidable game considering that the Bills are Josh Allen first offense anyways. They barely run the ball. They throw the ball 40 times a game. And so people looking at his stat line last week are like, okay, is this some kind of trend for Singletary? I fully don't expect that to be a trend. He had one 46-yard run. Outside of the 46-yard run, he had 12 carries for 36 yards, right? Yeah. So very, very subpar. Mm-hmm. He did end up getting a touchdown, which, again, inflates his stats, but you also got to factor in the fact that he gets vultured a lot by not only Josh Allen, who loves to keep the ball in the red zone, but Zach Moss had 2 rushing touchdowns last week. And it seems like the only time Zach Moss gets carries is short yardage and just, places he can basically be a vulture. So for that reason, I'm going to sell Devin Singletary this week, folks. And that is going to be my buy stock, sell stock for week 3. Let's kick it right over to you, Shishot. Give us a quick rundown of what we have as far as injury updates go.
Okay, so it is a Thursday, so we don't have crazy good injury updates for you because teams don't really reveal stuff at this point of the week. That's why you got to check out our Twitter closer to Fridays and Saturdays and Sunday mornings because that's when we'll give you the most accurate information. But let me tell you what's going on right now as far as practice goes. Joey Bosa, foot and ankle injury. He missed 2 practices in a row. He's playing against the Chiefs. So if Joey Bosa's not playing, Patrick Mahomes is going to have a stellar game. So if you're starting Patrick Mahomes and you're wondering if you should start Jalen Hurts instead, you can forget about that. Elijah Mitchell, shoulder injury. The rookie was previously diagnosed with a stinger, which is good. Stingers are easily you can overcome stingers. But it appears it's a little bit more severe than that. Sermon's the one practicing out there. He's got a concussion, but he's wearing one of those non-contact injury jerseys and playing with the team, whereas Elijah Mitchell is not. And all these other running backs they have in their repertoire, They're not doing much either. Half of them are out, probably more than half of them are out. So it looks like as of now, as of Thursday, 9:57 p.m. Central Time, looking like Sermon is probably going to be starting.
That'll be exciting. Ohio State rookie.
Yeah, we'll
got.
see. A lot of rookies coming out, getting to play when they're not ready, but we'll see how that goes. Next up, Big Ben did not practice Wednesday, but he was limited today on Thursday. He's likely going to play. Apparently the pec injury. His pec still big. Likely the pec injury was minor because also it was on the left shoulder / pec region. So it's really not on his throwing arm, so it's not as bad as having to throw with the pec injury on the right side. So all things looking like Big Ben's going to play. And Deontay was sidelined all week, so we don't know about Deontay. Not sure, but again, it's Thursday. Stay tuned. OBJ might make his debut.
Hell yeah.
Is actually more of a most likely. He's full go right now, so we'll see how that goes. I'd be excited to see him out there. Saquon limited, but he's been limited all season. He should be in for a big day, though. AB, Antonio Brown, COVID protocol. The thing is, his COVID protocol runs out before the game on Sunday, so he might actually still play. It's just a matter of understanding the gameplay and scheme, which I don't think he'll have a problem with because he's probably the best wide receiver of the decade. So he should be able to catch things right back up.
Yeah.
Does he have to pass does he have to get a negative COVID test?
Yeah, he's got to get 2 negative tests in a row. So yeah, we're just waiting for stuff like that. But I'm assuming he'll be fine as far as that goes. But it's just the play recognition and his defense. Has he studied the defense? All that stuff. So yeah, again, Thursday. Stay tuned for Saturday. T. Higgins' shoulder. He missed practice because of his shoulder. So Chase's stock is rising. You know what happened last year at this time when an LSU wide receiver came into the league? He had a big day. He goes by the name of Justin Jefferson's. Also, Senor Jefe. So, Chase, he might be replicating that little scenario here this week, especially if T. Higgins ends up sitting out. Dalvin Cook did not practice, which was expected. We already listened to Mike Zimmer talk post-game and on Monday. Mm-hmm. And he said all things looking like we're going to have to play Dalvin Cook regardless of his injury, which is a bold statement because, he's not the one feeling the pain. It's Dalvin Cook feeling the pain, right? But apparently Dalvin Cook had 2 small injuries to that ankle, so he sprained it, probably tweaked it again, and he just kept powering through it. So we got a warrior on the team.
The fact that Zimmer made such a bold statement this early in the week probably just to believe that he's okay. Cook can play.
Yeah. I think he'll be fine. But I see Madison's only 30% owned in ESPN leagues. So if you're playing in like a 10-man league, it makes kind of sense. But if you're playing in a 12-man league, go ahead and scoop him up, man. I'm sure you don't have that many good players on your bench that could be that you won't drop for Madison. So make that happen. Carson Wentz did not practice. Not sure what Mr. 2 ankle injury is going to do. But that's what we got so far as injuries. We're going to be updating you more through our social medias.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's early in the week, and like you said, we won't know a lot of certainty stuff maybe till Sunday morning before kickoff. So again, stay tuned. Let's jump right into what we want to do. Kind of the cream of the crop of the episode is we're going to go through each game of the week or each game this week, and we'll try to give you kind of a quick preview what we're watching for. Hopefully we can try to run through this quick. We say that every time, and then it ends up being like 2 hours. So let's try our best to get through this as quickly as we can. First game on the board, going left to right on this website here. Indianapolis Colts are at the Tennessee Titans. Colts 0-2. We just talked about Carson Wentz not practicing. Titans had that amazing comeback victory against Seattle. So one team kind of riding a high, one team nowhere to ride except low. So what are we watching for here?
Yeah, as far as the Colts are concerned, Carson Wentz might not play. Right, and Eason, their backup, who threw the first his first play back was an interception. So not a lot of things going for the Colts, like you mentioned. Only way you can go is down, and so I think Tennessee Titans here, they're favored by 5.5 points, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. At home, very good matchup for the Titans to start 2-1 this season. Yeah,
the Colts have allowed an individual 100-yard rusher only 3 times since 2018. Can you believe that?
Did not know that.
It's pretty ridiculous. And guess who had all 3 of those? Derrick Henry.
What?
Wow. So that's going to be fun to watch. The Colts have also won 8 of their last 9 road games against the Titans. So there's a little bit of I don't know what's going to happen in this game. This game's going to be a fun one to watch.
I was trying to pull up the line on DraftKings Sportsbook, but my app is like crashing, so I don't know what's happening there. But let's take a look and see if I.
While you do that, the Titans are also 19-0 when Derrick Henry has 24 plus touches in a game. So, all signs point
Just
to
give
the
him the ball
to Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that will just set him up for the play action too, right? Julio Jones looked really good last game, and
no regression there. No regression.
Yeah, they got this other Brown there, AJ Brown.
Yeah, I don't know what these Browns are gonna do for me though, man. I have all these Browns on all my teams, and they're just like not there.
Yeah.
Okay, why is it doing this? Hold on. Okay, I got it. What's this again? So
Colts and Titans.
Colts and Titans. Let's see what the line is. We're going to use DraftKings Sportsbook just so we can keep everything in unison in terms of lines. So whatever lines we're quoting is off of that. The Titans at home are favored by 5.5.
Yeah.
So on paper, that seems like a game they can cover as long as they, again, do what they do, run the ball, keep the ball, and melt the clock.
Yeah.
And the Colts playing from behind with a second or third string quarterback. All other question marks doesn't seem like a good recipe. Over under in that game is 47.5. Tough to gauge for me which way I'd lean at this point.
You said Tennessee's at home?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see Tennessee going back to week 1 Tennessee.
Yeah.
I see week 2 Tennessee coming up here. The only thing is we're going to see if the Colts defense is for real or not, because this is a huge test going up against all these guys.
Yeah.
So we'll find out.
Yeah, should be a good one. Shout out to Riaz, Tennessee Titans fan.
Woo!
Also getting married soon, right?
Samara. Shout out to Samara.
Congratulations, guys.
More shout out to Samara than Riaz.
All right, next game on the board we have is...
Oh, by the way, I'm also playing Riaz this week.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, no shout out to Riaz.
Triple whammy with Riaz.
Delete all shout outs to Riaz.
He's getting way too many shout outs on this right now. Next game on the board, guys, we have the Atlanta Falcons are visiting the New York Giants. Battle of two 0-2 teams. Somebody's finally going to get a win on the season. It's got to be exciting.
Yeah, must be nice.
What do you think here? I mean, again, I personally think Atlanta's bottom feeders, but then they look surprisingly like adequate against the Bucs last week. So I don't know. Which way do you lean, shove it?
Oh man, this is a tough one.
What's the line?
Giants are favored by 3 points, but I mean, I'd want to take the under, not just the under. I'd want to take the Falcons straight up on this because the Giants haven't really. They looked good against Washington football team last week.
Right.
I'm not going to discredit them, but it just boils down to the Giants offensive line versus the Falcons defensive line.
Yeah.
What will come out of that, and will the offensive line protect
Matty Ice?
Yeah, Matty Ice, Matt Ryan.
They're both bad teams with bad offensive lines. Then it comes down to the quarterback, right? Jones can escape that pressure. Matt Ryan cannot. And also, the Falcons have lost 7 straight games now. That's their longest streak since Matt Ryan was drafted in 2008.
Wow.
I don't know. They are. I mean, they're going to be contending pretty much every game, but I don't think they're going to be able to keep up with anybody. So we'll see. We'll see if Cordell Patterson has another weird game like he's doing. Let's see if he puts his name out there. Because he's a free agent in a lot of leagues, and some people picked him up with the waivers, some people didn't want to waste their waivers on him. So I'm going with the Falcons this game. I think Mike Davis has a good game, and I think the Falcons get their win this week.
The reason I bring up the Giants' offensive line versus the defensive line, just some PFF rankings. The offensive line, New York's line, is ranked 31st in PFF pass blocking grade. And the Falcons' defensive line is at 32nd pass rush grade.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. So toilet bowl is what we're talking about here.
Yeah. Right.
Again, a couple names to watch out for. Sterling Shepard's had a real nice start to the season, right? Been kind of fantasy relevant.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley is always fantasy relevant. And I talked about Kyle Pitts having his breakout game. So if Kyle Pitts has a breakout game, that would translate, I would think, to the Falcons winning. But you never know. They find more ways to blow leads than not. So, it should be a good one. Battle of two 0-2 teams, and we'll see who gets their first win. Let's move to another great contest we have on the board. The LA Chargers are going to be at the Kansas City Chiefs. Chargers coming off a loss to the Cowboys. Chiefs coming off a loss to the Ravens. Yeah. Right? Both teams probably fired up, looking to get the second win on the board. Chiefs at home, always going to be really, really tough. So I don't know. Same story and same formula for the Chiefs as always to me, right? Mahomes has got to do Mahomes things. Chargers defense is pretty formidable. What do we want to see kind of out of Herbert so they can keep up with this Chiefs offense?
Herbert can do all he wants this game. So, I'm expecting like 20 to 25 fantasy points from Herbert this game. I think he's going to try to keep up, but, I don't think you're going to see Kansas City losing back-to-back games, especially against the Chargers. I know the Chargers are pretty for real this time. This is the most for real they've been in, many years. But, Herbert, as much as I like him, he was one of our starts last week. Didn't really play out, but I think he'll play well this week. I just don't think he's going to do what it takes to beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, for me, I am looking at this line
6.5.
6.5, and I don't like it.
The Chiefs are 1-11 against the spread in the last 12 games or something crazy like that. Before that, they were on a 15-1 run covering the spread. So they've been like super hit or super miss.
Right. And and I don't have the stat in front of me, but the Chargers always keep it close.
Yeah.
Right? It's like a 3-point game or less.
Yeah, they have like some of the most 3 to 7 point games or whatever.
13 of Justin Herbert's 17 career starts have been games decided by one possession. The most such starts by any quarterback since 2020, which was just last year.
Look at that. You
That's
heard
clutch.
it.
Clutch
You heard it
stats right
here.
there.
Yeah,
Coming in the clutch.
appreciate that. So when I look at this game, I'm looking at as far as betting goes. I fully expect Chiefs to win, but Chargers. It's a divisional matchup. Anything can go there. I'm as far as betting goes, I'm taking the under here. Chargers 6.5. I don't think that the Chiefs covered 6.5 points.
Okay, so you're taking the Chargers with the points?
Yes.
But for the over under 54.5, do you have a lean?
Oh,
it's tough to predict non-points anytime the Chiefs are playing, so it always makes you want to take the over. But the Cowboys did really well against that Chargers offense. I know the Chiefs defense is pretty bad though.
The Chiefs have also won 31 of their last 35 games against the AFC West.
Wow.
So they're like their little bitches. I mean,
holy cow.
I think Kansas City wins with emphasis.
Yeah. I could see that. I could see it. I'm going to take the over. I could see like a Kansas City again putting up like 40 plus and the Chargers have like 20 plus.
Mm-hmm.
High scoring game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I expect the Chiefs to take this one. I just need Herbie Herbert to have a good fantasy game.
You almost put him in the Huskers there for a second.
Yeah, Herbie Husker. Yikes. Moving right on, let's go to the next game on the board. We have the Cincinnati Bengals, the 1-1 Cincinnati Bengals. They are going to be traveling to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are also 1-1. A lot of question marks on the Steelers with injuries last week. Hopefully we get an update on kind of where they're progressing as far as those guys who are out. Cincinnati Bengals did lose to the Bears after having that Week 1 victory against the Vikings, so they're also 1-1 with Burrow having an absolute nightmare of a game last week. So what's to watch for here?
It's tough because with all those injuries on defense, the Steelers are basically they live off their defense and then average play by Ben Roethlisberger.
Their offense just gets by.
Exactly. So with Joe Hayden, Devin Bush.
Are they all still out?
TJ Watt. So TJ Watt was limited. Joe Hayden was limited Wednesday, and then Devin Bush was full play on practice.
He's not on the injury report anymore.
Nice.
Oh, okay,
That's good news.
That's definitely good news. So barring all the injuries, if this was just Cincinnati Bengals versus Steelers, I would say Steelers all the way.
Yep.
I'm not sure what the spread is there, but
Steelers only favored by 3 at home.
And hey,
that's a coin toss.
3 points, you can easily have a push.
And if the Steelers have most of their defense back, and that defense is probably a start in fantasy against the Bengals too, like 3 seems like a very coverable spread at home.
Right. They'll put some pressure on Joe Burrow and should get the job done. But I don't know.
The Bengals are 1-15-1 on the road since 2019, which is the lowest win percentage in NFL in that span. Nothing's pointing towards the Bengals winning this game, especially because you can lose a couple players here and there, on the defense. But overall, just that the way the Steelers play defense, regardless of who's playing the defense, is such a strong unit that, it's like one of those defense where you can just put the next
plug and play.
Next man up.
Yeah.
And it'll still be adequate versus like you see the Viking secondary and you lose like some of those players. The next man up is not going to cut it.
Unless it's Schobert guarding Ruggs.
Yeah, isn't he a linebacker?
Yeah,
what the hell is he doing back there?
I don't
know.
know.
He's the fastest man in the NFL. And
it's the biggest mismatch
also,
ever.
the Pittsburgh Steelers, they've averaged 60 rushing yards in their last 13 games. That doesn't even sound like a Steelers stat. But that's like the third fewest they've ever had in a 13-game span since 1950. So I expect that to be addressed.
Yeah, I like the Steelers -3. I think they take care of business at home. Bounce back week after losing to the Raiders.
if they lose this game, there's a lot of fingers to be pointed there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, that should be a good one. Let's get on to the next game. We have the Chicago Bears traveling to Cleveland to take on the Browns. Browns get their first win of the season last week. Bears get their first win of the season last week. So 2 teams coming in with dubs.
Mm-hmm.
Baker Mayfield, doing shoulder things. We talked about that last week.
Mm-hmm.
What's to like here from a fantasy perspective? Any big names to watch?
The Bears defense. If you can stop Cleveland's running game, which did the Texans kind of like hobbled them up on the run last week, or how did that go?
Chubb had like 95 on only 11 carries. Hunt had
one
like
touchdown.
Yeah, Hunt didn't
do anything actually.
He had like 37 yards on 6 carries.
But their third string back.
Yeah, and the third string back was killing it. So overall, I think they ran pretty well.
Okay,
but it is the Texans.
Yeah, I think the Cleveland Browns just played a weird, like a dirty game last week. But yeah, I think even if it's not for this game, I think the Bears defense needs to be looked at as far as fantasy perspective goes. Look at their schedule. They get to play the Lions twice, all that good stuff. So just keep in mind that this defense, I don't think this is the defense that we saw last year. I think this defense has improved. And other things as far as fantasy goes, Cleveland defense versus Allen Robinson. Is Allen Robinson going to have an Allen Robinson day, or is Allen Robinson not going to have an Allen Robinson day?
Well, Justin Fields finally gets a full week of practice with first-team reps. Andy Dalton's out, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's
the thing is, it's confusing. So Matt Nagy, he said Fields is a starter, but then he also said if Andy Dalton's healthy, he will start. So it's like, what are you trying to?
That's a 100. No, that's 100% a mind game, guys. Like Fields is the future, right? So Fields needs to continue to have a fire lit under his ass to make sure that it's not just his job now forever.
Right.
So it's almost like a way to be like, yeah, you're starting and you're probably going to be the future, but I don't want him to get comfortable knowing that Dalton's still on his ass. I gotta imagine that's what that means. Who knows?
I mean, it would be really foolish for them to start Dalton at this point.
Right.
Yeah, Justin Fields, another running quarterback. The Bears ranked dead last in passing plays over 15 yards. So excited to see what Justin Fields will do. Tyrod Taylor gave the Browns some trouble last week.
Before he got hurt.
Before he got hurt, right? Yeah. So I feel like if Justin Fields has an explosive game as far as being accurate, running the ball, evading the pressure when needed, I think that they have a strong chance to defeat the Browns.
It's an improvement from Dalton, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and look at this line, because everything you guys are saying leads me to believe the Bears should cover 7.5.
Yeah.
They're 7.5 dogs. The Cleveland's favored by over a touchdown at home.
The thing is, like, Cleveland, I'm afraid of Cleveland when they're up, but it's the fact that they have to be up first. Yeah. That's the thing. And Chicago seems like Chicago doesn't really have that much firepower.
They're 30th in offensive ranking so far.
Right, like I mentioned last week, like Dalton's yards per pass was less than Montgomery's yards per rush.
Yeah,
like that's just embarrassing, So another thing about the Cleveland's rushing attack, they've had 7 rushing touchdowns this season, which is the most in the first 2 games of a season since 1971. So their rushing attack is not going away. They're going to keep relying on that. OBJ's back, so in case they need to do some play actions, things will open up there. And also, when in 1971, the last team that did that was the Dallas Cowboys, and they went on to win the Super Bowl. So, defense wins championships, but rushing attack gets you there.
Yeah, that's interesting. Over under on that's 45, so kind of expected to be maybe a lower scoring game.
Yeah. I guess so.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I mean, all the games this week, it's just except for one game, which is the New York Jets versus the Denver Broncos. Mm-hmm. Every other game could go any other way. Maybe not that. And Arizona and Jacksonville. Besides those 2 games, it's like NFL's here, week 3's here.
Yeah, next game on the board could be a lopsided one, but you never know. The Ravens are going to be at the Detroit Lions this week. Ravens coming off that huge victory against the Chiefs. They're 1-1. Lions dropped to 0-2. A lot of question marks there. What do we expect here? Ravens on the road, but Lamar Jackson was questionable with an illness, but they're expecting him to play, and he's going to be indoors. And so indoors and turf running around, I mean, that's scary.
Yeah, Ravens are favored by 8 points in this game. Another one of those games where I feel like could be a little bit of a trap. I think the Detroit Lions haven't looked terrible, and I say that because last game against the Packers, I mean, I know
you're a big first half guy. I remember that.
I am a big first half.
He's
guy.
The meme of we had him in the first half.
But I think the Lions can potentially come out of this game on top. I don't like that -8 line at all.
Yeah, that's a big spread to give the away team. Like
Yeah.
you're favored by 8 points on the road,
Yeah.
right? And like you said, the NFL is the NFL. There's obviously been weeks and games over the course of all of football where there's games like these where you expect one team to just completely win and then it's a trap. So,
I don't know if you want to use this statistic towards the trappage or if you want to go against the trappage, but the Lions have allowed 30-plus points in 8 straight games, which is the longest streak in franchise history. So like I mentioned last time, this is the worst Lions defense we have ever seen. Okay? So just keep that in mind.
so Lamar Jackson should absolutely feast.
Yeah.
Like we're thinking 40-point fantasy game.
Right. But they are ranked 10th in offense this year. So,
Sample size 2.
But with that being said, the Ravens defense so far this year has not looked like anything amazing.
I'm
right?
actually starting the Ravens defense against Detroit this week.
Yeah.
Just, they haven't looked good, but I think it's enough. I think it's going to be enough to force some turnovers here.
Yeah, and I mean, they played the Chiefs last week, the best offense in the league probably, and then they played the Raiders week 1, who are the 2-0 Raiders right now. So
and the Lions haven't been moving the ball downfield very much. They're one of 3 teams without a wide receiver with more than 8 receptions so far this season.
Yeah.
So it's just Hawkinson out here and running backs out here.
Yeah.
And I think if, using that 2-game sample size, if the Ravens kind of just capitalize on stopping that area, they're going to force the Lions wide receivers to step up, and I don't know who's going to step up, so we'll have to see there.
Okay, yeah. Should be an interesting matchup. I think I fully expected the Ravens to come out on top, but I don't know. The 8 points seems like a lot.
Right.
Yeah. Saints are going to be at the Patriots this week. Saints had the embarrassing game last week. Jameis Winston just looked like old Jameis Winston, and the Patriots look stable. Their defense is good. They ran the ball. Damian Harris has stepped up, and Mac Jones looks very, very accurate. So Patriots at home always seem tough on paper. Patriots-Saints game seems like a marquee matchup because we've had years of Brady versus Breeze, but rookie quarterback on one side and, I don't know what we want to call Jameis Winston on the other side.
Jameis Winston is on a category by himself.
Yeah, he doesn't even – yeah, you're right. That's exactly right. So, again – a lot of the Saints games with Jameis Winston now just seem to be like which way Jameis is going to play, right? It's a coin toss. And so Jameis has a good game. They look like they can play well. Jameis has a bad game. I mean, it's literally a shit show. And the Pats D's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? They're doing all of this without Stephon Gilmore. Wow. So, yeah, watch out.
Yeah, I mean, again, Saints on the road. I know back in the Drew Brees era, Drew Brees always played worse outside of the dome, right? On the road. And last week I talked about that with somebody, but I was like, it's Winston. It's a completely different person, so it could just totally not impact him. And then he had an absolutely shitty game, and now he's in New England.
Yeah.
I just don't really like that. What's the line here? We have New England at home is actually favored by 2.5.
Oh, wow.
Inside a field goal at home.
I mean, Kamara's going to have a good game eventually, right?
Yeah, he was nowhere to be seen last week.
They're probably emphasizing getting him the ball.
Yeah, the Patriots are 5th best defense, sample size 2, right?
Yeah.
But they have a really good defense. So do the Saints. Saints are 7th in the league right now. But I think that Bill Belichick will definitely have an answer for Jameis Winston, whichever way he decides to go. If he wants to play, I think that they will be able to contain that Saints offense. So I see the Patriots taking this home.
Yeah. I like that. 2.5 points at home. Over-under's 42. Seems low when you're thinking Saints, but then you think the Patriots defense and their recipe for running the ball.
Or their offense.
Yeah.
I don't see the Patriots scoring that many points at any point during this season, but
42 points combined. Yeah, I don't know. That's low, but yeah, those are 2 very interesting offenses. Yeah. Should be fun. I like watching Mac Jones. Again, I've been really impressed with Mac Jones' accuracy and his poise. Does not look like somebody who, out of all the rookie quarterbacks, I think had the least hope, or like people predicted he'd be the biggest chance to be a bust or not good.
Right. The play calling is really in his favor, though. He barely throws it past 5 yards. I think historically he's on pace to have the best passer rating ever. So, it's
stats can be deceiving at times.
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm trying to say is they're not throwing it downfield because they don't have receivers to throw downfield. So that's why he looks a lot better than maybe he actually is.
Yeah.
But he's definitely not turning the ball over, so that's good.
Who are we got Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry.
Yeah, but they're not doing that tight end thing. It's I don't know what's going on. They'll probably figure it out though.
Yeah, that's something to watch for. That's something to watch out for. So we'll look to see. And I know Nelson Aguilar had a good week 1 and then was a no-show week 2.
Yeah,
so
he caught a longish pass and then
who's going to step up from their their X factor positions or whatever their playmaking positions.
Right. Early in the season, I was going to bet that it would be Jonnu Smith or Jacoby Myers.
Yeah.
Because he had Cam Newton throw it last year, and we were like, well, could he do with a better quarterback?
Yeah.
But this quarterback actually throws it, even closer to the line of scrimmage than Cam Newton. So we might never see what Myers can do.
Yeah. Should be fun. Be fun. Cardinals 2-0. Big victory over the Vikings last week. Fuck the Cardinals. They are at the Jacksonville Jaguars, the 0-2 Jaguars, the what's Trevor Lawrence doing Jaguars, the Urban Meyer
thinks he's playing Alabama every week.
Jaguars. That just like the list is endless for this team. They're at home. I mean, we're not expecting this team to go 0-17, but week 3 does not look great. Cardinals are second in the league in offense so far. Kyler Murray leads, I think, the league in fantasy points thus far, and their offense seems to be kind of unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Cardinals, they just against the Jacksonville Jaguars, I don't see the Jaguars coming on top in this one. The one thing I will say is Laviska Shenault, maybe he may have a big game going against Brian Murphy, who has allowed 150 yards in the last 2 weeks, which is the 5th most in the NFL.
Nice.
So may want to look to
I think Chenault's a little hobbled. I'm not sure where he is on the injury report, but he had to leave the game last game. I'm not sure how healthy he is right now.
Yeah, I mean, that makes it seem like whatever receiver gets guarded by that cornerback has a chance to have a big game. So maybe Lawrence can actually find somebody open downfield. And again, the Cardinals defense week 1 had an insane amount of sacks and did everything. Week 2, they had gaping holes, right? The Vikings offense dissected them. So which side of the coin is that defense, going to stay on? Are they going to be the inconsistent the week 1, the week 2? And so who knows if the Jags, can actually put some points up. But 27th in offense, 29th in defense so far, 23rd in passing, and 26th in rushing. That's really, really bad. So
what are the Cardinals in all those stats?
Cardinals are 2nd in offense, 11th in defense, 3rd in passing, and 12th in rushing.
Wow.
Again, 2 week sample size, but it's all we can go off of.
That 12th in defense seems kind of high. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that week 1, Chandler Jones 5 sacks.
Yeah.
This is true.
So Arizona is the third team in the Super Bowl era with more than 70 points, more than 650 pass yards, and more than 200 rush yards through their first 2 games. Each of the previous 2 teams went to win the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Well, actually, no, they didn't win. They went to the Super Bowl.
Went on to the Super Bowl? Okay.
Yeah, that was the New England Patriots in 2011 and Buffalo in 1991.
Cardinals are favored 7.5. Over-under is 51.5.
I can't find any logical football explanation for why the Jaguars would win this game.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Any way you look at it, any part of the offense, defense, special teams, whatever you're actually trying to dissect to give the Jags a slight hope of opportunity, I haven't found one either.
We gave the perfect blueprint to stop them, right?
Yep.
And even that wasn't good enough. You can't play perfect defense and stop Murray because he will break that defense apart.
Yep.
If you give him long enough time, he will find somebody open or he'll run it. So I don't know how you stop this guy. I just don't think you can.
In terms of betting, that 7.5, I don't know if I would take Cardinals either, just because I don't like anything could happen. And I know the Cardinals are that explosive, but I mean, given with all the other games that have been going on, I don't think I would take that bet this week. Personally.
Okay. Yeah. It's again, anything outside of touchdown when you're a road favorite is just so many points, right? But again, the Cardinals have this recipe to make this a blowout. But it is the NFL. Anything can happen. The Washington football team are going to travel to Buffalo to take on the Buffalo Bills. Bills came away with a victory last week, and the Washington football team actually lost last week, right? Or did they actually win? Heineke led them to the win last week?
They won against the Giants.
Yeah, so they got their first win last week too, right? So both teams coming off victory, 1-1 in Buffalo. Josh Allen. I mean, again, I think all eyes are always on Josh Allen anytime the Bills are on the field now, and he's coming off 2 subpar performances. Now he's going against a Washington defense that we expected to be better than they've performed the first 2 weeks. So is this Josh Allen's week to finally show last week's Josh Allen, or are we looking at a opportunity for the football team defense to actually do something?
Yeah, Josh Allen needs to get better. He ranked 28th in PFF grade among all the quarterbacks, and his 25% uncatchable rate is the 3rd highest in the league. So, I mean, the dude needs to step it up. But on the other side of the coin, I'm interested to see if Heineke is the answer, is a viable start for a Washington football team, and also Gibson expect more from Gibson. I think he is a good start against the Buffalo Bills. I mean, you probably already start him, but
yeah, you have to start him. I mean,
right.
it's not a favorable matchup because the Bills' defense is pretty ferocious, but yeah, Gibson doesn't seem like a guy this early you can even bench.
Yeah, what have you seen so far that you could, use to start, like to not start Gibson?
Yeah.
He's had a great game, pretty much both games. It just didn't get in the end zone, and he didn't get some like clutch moment plays. But outside of that, he's getting a lot of volume. He's getting the horse's share of the carries. So, I mean, you start Gibson with confidence this game, I feel like.
Yeah. Again, I had Scary Terry as my, sit of the week or sell of the week with my buy and sells. And so, again, I worry that Buffalo defense is just at home going to stifle that Washington offense. And Heineke, again, being Heineke, unproven, at least temporarily, could have some turnovers. I could see some turnovers.
On the... for Heineke?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Bills defense,
Yeah,
I think Bills defense from a fantasy perspective has a chance to put up 20 plus.
It's definitely a good play, I feel like, Bills defense. But don't forget, Heineke is the guy that gave Tom Brady the most problems last year in the playoffs. So I feel like Heineke, he's the man. I think he knows how to play football pretty damn well.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. It should be good.
Look out for Jonathan Allen, who is the third team's the highest grade pass rusher. He's got 83.7 PFF pass rushing grades.
Okay.
So, might put some pressure on Josh Allen this week too. So
yeah, we'll see. Good matchup. Two defenses on paper that should have been good. Washington's been a letdown so far. But the Jets, the 0-2 Jets, Zach Wilson's Jets, another team that we're asking a lot of questions because trying to find some answers. They're going to travel to Mile High. They're taking on the surprising 2-0 Denver Broncos, the Teddy Bridgewater Broncos, the great defense Broncos. Traveling to Denver, rookie quarterback. Again, on paper, there's not a lot to like from the Jets side. Do we think they finally turn around this week, or are the Jets destined to go 0-3?
I mean, Denver's really not that great either. It's just they've had two of the easiest teams to play so far, and now they get the third easiest team to play. So I think they're just, I hope they don't get used to this because it's about to get a lot harder for Denver. It just so happens Jets are just probably the worst team. I feel like they're worse than the Texans. Especially when they can't even, they turn the ball over like 4 times a game on average. When you play like that, you can't beat, forget Denver's defense. You can't beat Las Vegas's defense. You can't beat Seattle's defense. Mm-hmm. So, this is about as confident of a call you can make. Denver's probably going to win this game.
Yeah, I think the line's kind of
lopsided. 10.5.
10.5.
Oh my God.
Favoring the. Yeah. Is that the biggest one this week? I think the Jets.
That's close.
Yeah.
It's one of them.
Oh, the Texans and the Bills.
Texans didn't play the Bills.
That's the next week. Sorry. This week, that's the biggest line this week. 10.5.
Oh,
yeah,
Lord.
Looks like it.
Yeah. So, with that being said, I mean, I just looking at the spread itself, gives you everything you need to know.
I didn't even look at the spread.
Yeah. Jets are ranked 7th, or not 7th, but they're ranked
in 9th in overall team defense.
In team defense. So, I mean, maybe they find answers to the Broncos, but other than that, Broncos look really good on paper.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's going to be a lot going for the Jets. Again, we need Zach Wilson to find some consistency. We need that offense to start scoring, and I've been impressed with the Broncos' defense so far. Patrick Surtain looks like the real deal, and so again, it's going to be tough, especially going to a place like Denver. Denver of all places, right?
Jets have lost 11 straight games in September now. That's the longest active streak in the NFL.
Yikes.
Yeah, and Broncos are one of 2 teams that has that have 2 running backs that have run for over 100 yards so far. So, I mean, if they just keep the running attack going, milk the clock down, throw those deep bombs to Sutton, this game's going to get ugly by the third quarter.
Teddy doing Teddy things, right?
Teddy doing Teddy things.
Yeah, Teddy going to do Teddy. Yeah, I think the Broncos will win that one. That shouldn't be tough. The Miami Dolphins are going to be traveling to Vegas. Hopefully they don't party too hard. They're visiting the Raiders 2-0. Again, Raiders 2-0, surprise so far this year, I would imagine. Miami's 1-1. Miami's offense has looked just horrendous. They're 31st in the league 2 weeks in. Their passing offense is 30th in the league. Their rushing offense is 27th in the league.
Wow, I thought they would just be dead last in all of those categories.
Yeah, it's so shocking that there's actually people that are a little bit worse than them.
Yeah.
And you have on the other side the Raiders, number 1 in offense 2 weeks in, and number 1 in passing offense 2 weeks in. So
Yeah.
rushing offense is 30th in the league, so it looks like they've been very, very one-dimensional. I know probably the Jacobs injury factors in there as well, but their defense has been minimal, subpar, 15th or 16th in the league so far. So what do the Dolphins need to do? Because I know Tua's hurt.
Yeah.
He's not expected to play.
I don't think he is, right?
No,
Rib
he's-
injury?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got a broken rib. I think they're trying, but I don't think this is going to work. I don't think Tua's going to be playing.
So it's going to be Brissett show?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He's not terrible.
No.
Right. He played in the Colts.
Dude, you can put Tom Brady back there. They're not winning this game if their line plays the way they've been playing. It's just there's no time for the running backs to even get the ball before there's somebody in the backfield. It's just like it's ugly.
Yeah. And what's shocking about this is Raiders are at home against a Dolphins team with so many question marks, and they're only favored by 4.5.
So the Raiders have allowed 27 rushing touchdowns since 2020, which is the most in the NFL. So if there's a game for the three-headed, if you want to call it that, backfield in Miami to score anything this week, it sounds like it's this week.
So you're referring to Myles Gaskin?
Yeah, I mean
Ahmed,
the
dead terrorist.
Yeah, so Gaskin should be the lead back here.
Yeah.
We've watched highlights, we've watched tape. There's nothing that says Gaskin shouldn't be getting all the carries. But when you're down every game, when you're getting blown out and you're having to, like I said, there's a guy in the backfield before you even touch the ball. I would stay away from all Dolphins things until you start seeing some sort of productivity from somebody.
Yeah. And again, anytime you have to switch quarterbacks 3 weeks into the season, it's just going to throw the entire offense in a disarray, right? Brissett wasn't getting first-team reps, right? So it's like you're having to deal with all the nuances that come with a quarterback switch this early on. And I don't see them having adjusted quickly enough, especially with how much they struggled with Tua. Like you said, the line gave him no time. That's why he got hurt. He was getting ripped apart.
Right, he's a running quarterback too, so he can avoid pressure, But when a running quarterback's getting destroyed in the pocket, that's a bad sign.
Absolutely. So I think the Raiders should take this. Over under on the game is 44.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's Vegas, right? They're always every number they put out, you're like, oh, that sounds like it would be exactly the total score of the game. Like it's just always
sounds like they
on.
know what they're doing over there.
Yeah, weird. Wonder why Vegas always wins. Should be a good matchup. Couple more games on the board. Let's go to the Vikings. The Vikings are going to be hosting the Seattle Seahawks. Vikings still searching for the first win of the season. Seattle coming off that gut-wrenching loss where the Titans came back on them and won in overtime. And so Seattle probably wants to come.
Gut-wrenching loss? You want to talk gut-wrenching losses here?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we don't even have to say the Vikings suffered a gut-wrenching loss because almost every Vikings loss typically is in gut-wrenching fashion.
Big facts.
So it's just become the norm. Like, that's just how we cope with it. Yeah. The Vikings lost normally, and Seattle lost in a gut-wrenching fashion.
Yeah,
like that. Go. It's just crazy that I even said it that way because you're so right. But Seattle, Russell Wilson's cooking.
Mm-hmm.
He's cooking as much as he's been cooking before. Just as much, if not more. It's kind of scary.
He's going deep a lot more than he normally does.
He's going deep a lot more, and they're not broken plays. Right. He's getting in a little, like just enough time, and these routes are actually formulating, and somehow Lockett just gets behind the defense. Yeah. And our corners have really struggled so far this year. Really bad.
Yeah, the lowest PFF coverage grade.
Yeah, exactly.
2 weeks.
Yeah, and if that tells you anything, and we're waiting for DK Metcalf to have probably a big game, and I mean, if there's a game, it could be this.
Yeah, so I have some insight on that, on why that may not happen, but it can always happen, like we said, it's the NFL, but here's some stats for that. So Breland, our number 2 cornerback, who was kind of hobbled last game, he was targeted on over 25% of routes he ran. So every 4 plays, he was targeted by the opposing quarterback. Versus Patrick Peterson is very, very minimally targeted, if at all, throughout the game. Mm-hmm. So what that means is, Patrick Peterson doesn't leave his area. He's always on the left side of the field. So everybody else has to work on the right side of the field.
Right.
And that is exactly what the Seahawks do. DK Metcalf typically stays on the left side of the field, and Lockett stays on the right side of the field. So looking at, something's got to give there. If it does not give, then Patrick Peterson's going to be on DK Metcalf pretty much the whole game, unless they move him to the slot or whatnot, which they could do that. But so all signs point to another huge Lockett game. But you never know. It's Russell Wilson. There could be broken plays. We can just see Kyler Murray, older version of Kyler Murray all over again.
It's the Vikings. Remember? It's the Vikings at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah.
But the Vikings offense has looked stellar. Their line was protecting Kirk insanely well last week. Kirk was using his legs insanely well last week. Again, had an insanely amazing game. Do we expect a repeat of that against the Seahawks defense?
We expect a repeat of that every single game for the rest of our lives if that's how things work out.
Wow.
It's the second most accurate quarterback of all time. If he gets time to throw, throws will be made. Minnesota's the only team to have 3 players with 10-plus receptions, 130-plus receiving yards, and 1 touchdown this season. This isn't because Thielen is getting double covered. This isn't because Jefferson's doing so phenomenal over there. The ball's getting spread around evenly. That's nightmare for defenders. Defenders don't know what to do in that case. So if we keep that up, we will be totally fine on offense. It's just a matter of doing Vikings things. If we just, let the game go, again, missing kicks, all these little intangibles that nobody ever thinks about, that's how we lose. So we got to fix all of that this week.
Yeah, cornerbacks need to figure things out for sure. If not, it's going to be a long day, and it's going to be a field day for Russell Wilson, Tyler Lockett, and DK Metcalf.
Yeah. What's crazy is on paper, that's what we're expecting, right? Let me give you just the 2-week stats in, and you'd actually be shocked. Seahawks, 11th in team offense so far. Vikings, 6th.
Okay.
Vikings, 28th in team defense, right? We think they're literally the shittiest of shits. Seahawks are 30th.
Okay.
It's going to be a fun game.
Passing offense, Russell Cook is 10th.
Yeah.
You like that? Kirk is 8th.
Wow. So
rushing offense, Dalvin, obviously 10th over 19.
So we're better than him in every category so
category 2 weeks in.
Interesting.
Yeah. We got 2 chefs, right? We got Russell Wilson and we got Dalvin Cook. Who's going to make the better pot? Let's see. Then they both made. So.
This will be a really good game to watch, man. I just feel like Russell Wilson
sure.
plays always really well against the Vikings. So if you're not a Vikings fan, it's fun to watch.
Russell Wilson is actually 7-0 in his career against Minnesota, including the playoffs.
Wow.
Hey, there's always a first time for everything. And I feel like you've given up a couple of stats where you were like, they were 52-0. Now they're 52-1. So
that's right.
If there's a year for that shit to start happening, it's now.
That's why we watched this game, right? Because of all these weird things.
That was the Ravens and the Seahawks.
Yeah, exactly. So I like it. That's some hope.
And you want to talk bad luck? Some more bad luck stats here. So
Vikings?
Yeah, Vikings.
What else is
So Minnesota's the 3rd team since 1940. Okay, we've been mentioning 1950 a lot, but we're going to go even farther back and say 1940. To start its season 0-2, despite gaining 400-plus total yards and scoring 24-plus points in both games. It's crazy. Like, all the stars just don't align.
Yeah. There's always a hole somewhere. It's insanity. It's actually insanity. But at the end of the day, we are fucking diehard Vikings fans till the day we die. So it doesn't matter. Let's move on. Let's hope the Vikes get the dub. I'm going to go with the Vikes, actually. The line is actually surprisingly small.
What is it?
On paper, I guess based on these numbers, it might not be small, but the Seahawks are favored in Minnesota by only 1.5.
Oh, wow. In Minnesota?
Yeah.
You know how loud it gets in there?
Yeah.
All right. It's going to be a fun game.
Dude, it's good. That's going to be wild. Over-under is 55, so I think they are expecting a ton of points. I might just take the over for shits and giggles.
So far, if I had to take an over, I would be taking this one.
It's a big number, but I expect a lot of points.
Yeah.
I mean, they hit their over last game, right, against the Cardinals? Right?
Yeah.
And so
the Vikings over is, I think, 2-0 so far, because week 1 it was 27-24. The over came in.
True.
And week 2 was a huge high score.
It might just be over for the rest of the year. Unless they start catching on.
Unless the defense knows how to do anything.
I mean, that offense there's so much talent there. I mean, Thielen, Jefferson, now Osborne looking pretty good too, and obviously Dalvin Cook. So
yeah,
definitely
that'll be a good game. I can't wait to watch that one. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 2-0, Super Bowl champs, haven't lost a single bit of steam. This could be the game of the week.
Yeah,
this probably is the game of the week. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be at the LA Rams, who are also 2-0.
Yep.
Matty Stafford, like you said, enjoying life, living the beach life in LA, just having a great line.
All that, he went through so much shit his whole life, and now life just gave him just this perfect platter.
There's an inspirational quote in there somewhere, right?
Oh yeah, when life gives you lions, you turn them into rams.
Wise words from Shishot.
I got you.
This should be a great game. I mean, on paper, exciting as they come. I think what to watch out for will be actually on the defensive side. It seems like neither offense is going to lack scoring or the ability to score. What defense can make enough stops to be the difference?
That's a good point. So the Rams have this guy named Jalen Ramsey who's going to be playing on Chris Godwin. So
is that what's going to happen?
I think he'll play. Yeah, Godwin plays slot, right? So he'll probably.
Ramsey's unanimously been known to play outside receiver his whole career, but this so far sample size low. But 2 games he's played 52% of his snaps in the slot.
Yeah. So I think I still think he's gonna guard the
I hope you're right.
the best receiver that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have.
I hope that's fine.
So
I think the best receiver the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have is
Antonio Brown.
No,
Gronk?
I was gonna say Evans.
Oh.
So that tells you everything you need to know. There's too many good receivers on this team.
We all had different answers there.
Yeah.
Gronk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a fun game. Buccaneers and Rams.
It's it's actually Rojo.
R.I.P. to Rojo's fantasy values.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be a good game. Probably this is the toughest matchup of the season so far. Falcons really weren't anything, and Cowboys, that defense wasn't as good as it was in week 2. Week 1 defense was pretty bad. So the Rams are a big threat. I think the line's pretty low here.
What is the line?
I'll let you. Do you guys want to guess?
-1.
-1.5.
Is that what it is?
Where the hell am I? Hold on.
So what? I mean, Rams are at home.
Yeah, well, -1.5.
Nice.
Buccaneers are favored -1.5 in LA.
Nice. So in terms of that Ramsey thing, he actually transitioned to the slot last year. He had a team high of 74 of his 135 defensive snaps came from the inside, and he's excelled.
So it's around 52%.
Yeah. I mean, he's excelled in that role. So he's only allowed 13 passing yards into his coverage on 48 slot coverage snaps in the past 2 weeks. So Godwin, look out! Ramsey's on you,
dude. I hope Mike Evans get to eat.
Yeah,
feed that boy. That should be a good game. 55, like we mentioned, over/under is pretty high. They're expecting scoring.
Yeah. The Rams have allowed fewer than 30 points in 15 straight games, which is the second longest active streak in the NFL. So we're expecting how many points? What'd you say?
55.
Damn.
It is Tom Brady.
It is Tom
We just
Brady.
talked about that offense being stupid good.
No, it is stupid good. But when you have 299 overalls in Madden.
Yeah, dude. The Ramseys and the Donalds. I mean, those guys are just...
We'll see. I don't know why this game's on Sunday night. This should have been a Sunday night game.
Yeah, you're actually right. Damn, that is stupid.
It's okay.
What game took Sunday night this week?
Green Bay, San Francisco.
Green Bay,
that's bullshit. This game's better.
And then Philly, Dallas Monday night. So Dallas doing.
Should be a good one. So this is again the game to watch, at least in my eyes. Let's move on to that Green Bay San Francisco game. The Packers are traveling to take on the 49ers. Packers got that dub last week. Aaron Rodgers telling everybody to relax. Back to 1-1. San Francisco 2-0 on the season. Young season. 2-0, doing weird San Francisco things. George Kittle just blocking, not really catching passes. Deebo Samuel just 18 targets or something like that through 2 weeks. What's the recipe here for the Packers to get it done?
Just play Packer football. Play Aaron Rodgers football. Start throwing the ball more like they did last game. Packers are just right up there with Tampa Bay. They don't have the firepower Tampa Bay does, but they have Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers can make anybody look like Godwin. He can make anybody look like, Mike Evans. It's just... I think San Francisco is a good team. San Francisco is starting off pretty hot, but when Green Bay gets hot, there's really no other teams that can keep up with Green Bay when Aaron Rodgers plays Aaron Rodgers football.
Yeah, this is a tough game. 49ers, also another great defense.
Niners are favored by 3 at home, so they just get the home field advantage, but nothing else.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I mean, if the Packers played like they did last game against the Detroit Lions, I mean, honestly, I don't even know.
The Packers have been literally night and day between week 1 and week 2, right?
Yeah.
So
one of them's an outlier, and I'm betting my house on it that it was the first game.
Yeah. You never bet your house against Aaron Rodgers, so...
Right.
San Francisco's kind of been the middle of the pack with everything, right? Offense, defense, just doing enough to get the wins, right? Being disciplined, Garoppolo not being asked to do too much, and the defense, again, taking care of the defense and running the ball. And so that's been their recipe. It's going to be tough to sustain that recipe if Aaron Rodgers looks like Aaron Rodgers, right? If Jimmy Garoppolo gets put in a situation where he's going to have to drop back and cock it and throw it 40 times, that's when the 49ers are in trouble, I think.
Zadarius Smith might be. I think he's out this game.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, so that's not much pressure.
That could help George Kittle. That's another thing that could help George Kittle.
All right.
Yeah.
Liking that matchup.
Yeah. Expect Kittle to put up 20+. I'm going out on a limb. He's putting up 20+ this week.
Aaron Rodgers his career passer rating is 104 versus the 49ers, which is the highest for any starting quarterback versus San Francisco all time.
Wow.
And there is that one storyline that comes out every time they play where the 49ers took Alex Smith over Aaron Rodgers the same year. So and Rodgers seems like the ideal guy to continue to hold that grudge and be like, fuck you, team. I'm going to still whoop your ass every time I play you. Maybe that's why he has such great numbers against them.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So you guys taking the Packers this game?
I don't want the Packers to win. So I mean,
Yeah.
I don't like to just pick all the games because like the chances of getting it right is so low.
Yeah.
I think I'm just gonna stay away from this game.
Yeah, I actually, if I had to take I actually look at the over-under. It's at 50.5. The 49ers just continue to be a team where we're expecting points, and even last week the Eagles only had 11, so I'm actually going to sit under because we've also seen the Packers drop a dud in the offensive side, and the 49ers offense doesn't like jump out at me to me on paper, so I'm going to go under 50.5.
Packers defense did look pretty trashy the last two games.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the offense wasn't consistent both games, but defense was consistently pretty bad both games.
Right, but the thing with that is the 49ers run the ball more than pass, so it's just like they're more controlling the clock, so unless they're giving up like 80-yard runs, just naturally there's less points to be had, I feel like. Because, again, it's not like Goff, who was just throwing it downfield or dumping it off or whatever, and then Winston, who threw 5 touchdowns. Garoppolo's like never asked to do that, right? Because their offensive line's amazing and they run the ball. So if they're just gashing the Packers, whose their defense is actually 10th in the league right now through 2 weeks because it's been night and day, and the Niners' rushing offense is 9th in the league. So if that's exactly what happens, like who's going to come out on top, and that could be the difference.
Should be an exciting game.
Any other fantasy people to watch? I know Aaron Jones had that ridiculous game last week. Probably you can't ask him to replicate anything like that. But I had an interesting conversation with a couple of buddies at work about Aaron Jones, and I want to get your guys' take on it. So this buddy, Johnny G, at work was telling me that he thinks Aaron Jones is a top 5 running back in the league. And he was asking me to name 5 running backs I'd take today over Aaron Jones.
Damn, I feel like skill-wise, you can make an argument. But I feel like opportunity-wise, you can't because Aaron Rodgers throws. He just got, I mean, think about it. He threw 3 touchdown passes to running back. That just doesn't happen. That just never happens.
So you bring up a good point. So skill-wise, you think he could be top 5. So name me.
Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook, CMC. And I think Nick Chubb would have to take the next part there.
Yeah, I would take Nick Chubb over that.
After Nick Chubb, then that's when things get
interesting.
Maybe you get Joe Mixon in there, but I don't know.
I wouldn't take Joe Mixon. And then, again, any other year besides this year, you'd take Zeke, you'd take Saquon, right? But those guys are big question marks.
Yeah.
But would you still take Zeke over Aaron Jones right now?
No.
Okay. What about Austin Eckler?
Austin Eckler over Aaron Jones.
Again, I would pick Aaron Jones over Austin Eckler.
It's skill versus opportunity when it comes to fantasy. You know, you can be the most skilled person like DK Metcalf,
right,
and not get what you want. You know, because the way the offense was run. So when you're talking Eckler versus Aaron Jones not even getting goal line carries. He's getting goal line catches.
Yep.
Those catches could go to anybody.
100%.
At Austin Eckler, the game plan, the team's core is Austin Eckler. He gets minimum of like 9 to 12 targets a game. When you have 12 catches, you know, and you're in a PPR league, there's a really, really, really good chance that player is going to score more than the guy that doesn't catch any passes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, Aaron Jones, top 7.
Yeah, that was funny. That was my counter argument. It's like I could argue maybe top 7. Like top 10 for sure. Top 7 you can make the case for. Top 5, like you, I named almost the identical same running backs that I'd take over him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's an argument to be had, clearly, right? So
again, we'll have another conversation. It's going to be totally different about week 4.
Yeah.
I fear Eckler's injury, so I think if I could get Aaron Jones for Eckler, I would do that just because of that. But skill wise, I mean Eckler's
they do different things.
Yeah, they do different things, but yeah, again, if you're in a PPR or half point PPR or something like that, even though Aaron Jones had 3 touchdown catches last week, consistency wise, Austin Eckler had 9 catches on 9 targets.
Yes.
So this week his projections should go up to 18 catches on 18 targets.
Speaking of catches and receiving, Deebo Samuel is number 1 with receiving yards with 282 this year.
Yeah.
Caught me by surprise. I know it didn't catch you guys by surprise, but I thought Cooper Kupp had that number 1
I was telling Sweetcar week 1 I was big on Deebo Samuel this year. Strictly because of the play style. Whenever you have a running back playing wide receiver, there's no fear. There is no fear factor because what do wide receivers not do? They don't run down the middle because they're usually skinny, tall. They don't want to get hit. If they get hit, they're out for a couple plays. They're scared. Deebo Samuels is built like a running back playing wide receiver who can catch like a wide receiver. So there's really no weakness to his game besides maybe like height.
He's a better Cordero Patterson. Is what you're saying?
Or smaller Cordero Patterson.
Yeah.
But better, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to throw that out there.
No, that is, again, if you ask somebody maybe last year when they're like, hey, 2021, who's going to lead the league in receiving yards 2 weeks in? Nobody would have guessed Deebo.
Yeah, especially because he's so injury prone.
Yeah.
He's always hurt.
That's the other thing. Yep.
Maybe he should stop running up the middle then.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's our Sunday night matchup, so that should be a good one. Still think the Bucks and Rams should have been Sunday night, but whatever. I hope the Packers lose.
Yeah, always. Always hope the Packers
Monday
lose.
Night Football. We're going to be we're going to be not going anywhere. We're staying right here because Monday Night Football is 2 miles from here. What direction is that?
I think that is
South?
East.
South.
South.
Sounds about right.
2 miles south of where we're
Southeast.
2 miles southeast of where we're currently recording from is Cowboy Stadium, Jerry's World, right? And the Cowboys are hosting their division rivals on Monday Night Football, the Fly Eagles Fly, Philadelphia Eagles. This should be a freaking great matchup.
Yeah, I know all of us here have a lot of stock in this game. You guys have the 2 receivers. I have the quarterback on the Eagles. I also have the wide receiver.
You also
Cooper.
have the running back on the Eagles.
I do have the running back in the Eagles too. So, I don't want any of them. I'm not excited to have any of them. I'm excited for Hurts, but I got Russell Wilson over him, so I don't know when I'm going to start Hurts.
Trade
But
him
yeah, they're a youthful team, that's just getting things started. So I feel like there's a lot of firepower here. It's just about it's like when you're like 19 and your friends are like, you want to have a party? And then you're all excited for it, just hormones raging. That's exactly how I see the Philadelphia Eagles. They're just like so much talent, so much room to grow. And
so much youth.
So much youth. And I think, and it's the Cowboys. It's like, it's going to be a great game. It's a rivalry game. I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, amazing game. It's probably going to be a high-scoring game the way I see it. The Cowboys are favored, I think, by 4?
3.5 is what I see, yeah.
3, it probably changed, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So 3.5 points. And I'm looking for CeeDee Lamb to have a big game.
Yeah.
And
Cooper's hurt. He's got a rib injury too. So, and I don't think he's going to be 100% at all.
Is Gallup still out? Gallup was out last week, right?
Yeah, Gallup's still out.
Yeah. Man, that could be big CeeDee Lamb.
I think the deciding factor may be the Dallas Cowboys defense. I think if
they were very good last week.
They were good last week, and if they play the same, if they show up like they did, I think they could definitely, make a run for the money there against the Eagles.
Here's a quick little fantasy strategy for all you youngins out there. So if you have Cooper Kupp and, not Cooper Kupp, Amari Cooper, and you want to play him, right? Because you saw that huge game, the first game, and you didn't see nothing the second game. So you're most likely going to start him. So what you need to do, Jalen Reagor is rostered only in 58% of the ESPN leagues. So what you need to do is pick him up, keep him on your bench, and if Cooper is a last-minute scratch, you won't feel too bad starting Reagor instead of some random Joe you would be starting on Sunday.
Yeah. I like Reagor. We all know.
I like Devontae Smith.
The millions of fans that have listened to this podcast through 4 weeks know that I'm big on Jalen Reagor this year. So, yeah. Devontae Smith also, I'm sure either one. I don't know. What I wonder what Smith's rostered percentage is.
Probably a little bit higher.
Yeah, slightly higher probably. But yeah, again, either way, we know that these NFC East matchups, especially in primetime, always make for crazy, crazy games, right? Crazy games, obviously living in Dallas and being around so many Cowboys fans. You tend to have big parties and stuff when you're watching these games, and they always end up not disappointing in terms of the result.
Yeah.
And so it should be good. Again, Cowboys offense looks really good. We have some injury concerns from the receiver side. Pollard has kind of had a coming out party, puts a little bit of less pressure on Zeke, and so it allows both of them to kind of eat and keep both their legs fresh, which is nice. Dax looked good. Cowboys defense, again, you hit on that. They've been one kind of difference factor for me is if that defense looks like how they look week 2, if that's a level of consistency they can maintain, then that offense is scary as shit on paper. Yeah. And that if that defense is even average, the Cowboys are a team to be reckoned with. I mean, I would say I'd argue they're the team to beat in the NFC East. I still think the Eagles need to show us more just because their one solidified victory was against the Falcons.
They're too young.
They're very young, right? And so, as much as we shit on the Cowboys or hate on the Cowboys, they look very, very good.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think they're a young team, but Cowboys are a little bit more polished there in that sense.
Speaking of Paul, don't forget about Pollard. This is something to watch out for this game. He might be taking a lot of Zeke's carries. We'll see how that goes.
Who's vulture and who?
Yeah.
Stay tuned
for another edition of that on our next episode. Yeah, this is going to be a great game. Again, Monday Night Football in Dallas. Stadium's always popping. Division rivalry, right? There's a lot of animosity between these two teams, I feel like. And so I think it should make for a great game.
one of the few Cowboys games I went to was Cowboys versus the Eagles like 4 years ago.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, one of my friends, shout out to Aaron Abraham for giving us Hall of Fame tickets at the 50-yard line. I looked back.
Damn.
I was there. I turned around and looked back behind me.
You still friends with that guy? Hook
Yo,
us up, bro.
Yo, Aaron, I'm about to slide into your DMs, bro.
I turn around and I see the great Emmitt Smith.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool. That stadium is amazing.
Dude, you know why I kind of remember that game?
Yeah.
Was that a Monday night game? Was that a Sunday night or Monday night?
Sunday night, yeah.
And I remember the Eagles had like their second or third string running back starting, and I had to start him in my fantasy and ended up dropping like 40 points. You probably have the best memory when it comes to this. I cannot for the life of me think of his name.
Is it Boston Scott?
No, not Boston Scott. It was before Boston Scott. It was before Boston Scott. It was the guy that was basically LaShawn McCoy's backup, I feel like. Who was LaShawn McCoy's backup for like 5 weeks, and he like killed it fantasy towards the end of the year?
Oh man, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, dude, I know. I'm thinking about it too. We have to Google this.
I want to say that was 2014.
Okay, LaShawn McCoy backup Eagles 2014.
Yeah, man.
Gosh, it's like a B name or something. No, what is it?
But
Bryce something. Is it right? Bryce Brown. It was Bryce Brown, right?
Bryce Brown.
Wasn't it Bryce Brown?
Bryce Brown.
It's got to be.
Okay. Well, let's not make the podcast people wait too long for this.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah,
I'm
pretty sure it was Bryce Brown. But anyways, yeah, dude, their games are always insane.
Yeah.
This is the game to end the week in week 3, so I think we're gonna end it with a bang. Look for, again, anything can happen. So it'll definitely be something to watch out for. That's the last game on the board for the week. Again, we wanted to run through those quickly. A lot of great games on the board. A lot of games where it seems like it could go either way. So that makes for a fun week.
If you guys have any questions that we didn't cover, or if you guys have more questions in depth about what we talked about, hit us up on social media.
Yeah, the only playbook everywhere you look except Twitter, where we're only playbook.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know if our assessment is just like that's crazy. Why would you even?
If we're dumb and we sound stupid and ridiculous, tell us. We want to know. We want to know what we sound like and what you guys think of our opinions.
Yeah,
we value your thoughts on our opinions.
We do.
You matter.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Exactly. Kick us off here with one of our last segments. Shovit, give us some mind blowing stats.
All right. Okay. So first off, we've got Derrick Henry. So Derrick Henry was hit within the 1 yard line or behind the line of scrimmage, 26 of 35 carries. Right?
Damn.
Wow.
That's a lot. 160 of his 182 total rushing yards were after that first contact.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So
he's a beast. It makes so much sense that he had like 40 fantasy points.
Just feed him the ball.
They literally cannot tackle him.
Yeah. Next up, we've got the Buccaneers. They're the first team in NFL history to score at least 30 points and win in 9 straight games, including playoff.
Jeez.
I mean, whatever. Like,
expected.
Yeah, cool. but Brady was also the starting quarterback for the only other streaks that reached 8 games.
That's hilarious.
So
Brady owns, Brady owns the record and he owns the second record.
He owns us all.
Brady owns everything.
Brady go.
All right. Last but not least, we have Teddy B.
Shout out.
He has thrown deep more than any other quarterback in the first 2 weeks of the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Despite that, they lead the NFL in time of possession. So they're explosive and they've got ball control. So
well, that's what happens. That's what happens when you got 200-yard rushers in 2 games.
That's what happens when you have the easiest schedule in the entire league as well.
There is that.
But no, that is impressive. And you would not expect Teddy Bridgewater to lead the league in deep passes. That's not really his MO.
Yeah, man. Amazing. I love that guy.
Appreciate the stats, man.
Yeah.
Those are all stats?
What's that?
Those are all the stats?
Those are all the stats.
That's all you got?
Good stuff.
That's all I got.
I'm just kidding.
I'll have more
I wanted
next time.
more. I just always want more stats.
Oh,
dude, such a stat nerd. Let's end this episode and end this show with what we've been doing for the last 2 weeks. Obviously, you guys know we started a survivor pick where we're picking one team to win every week for 17 weeks. You cannot pick the same team twice. And we've actually made a rule in-house that 2 people can't pick the same team in the same week. And so first week, Shashot started. Last week, you started. So this week, I'll kick us off. Shashot's 2-0 so far. Shovit's 1-1. I'm also 2-0. I'm starting us off. Week 1, I took the Panthers. Week 2, I took the Bucks. This week, I am going to roll with the Tennessee Titans, who are going to be at home against Indianapolis Colts. Colts
Damn.
have too many question marks on their offense. Defense is not playing up to par. Again, when you have that many question marks at the quarterback position of all positions, and we just talked about how Derrick Henry's been basically impossible to tackle,
right.
and they're at home, I really like that. So I'm going to take the Titans as my survivor pick for week 3. Shisho, who you got?
It's a good pick.
I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos. Let's just beat up on this rookie a little bit more.
Just anti-Jets. Every team the Jets play.
Honestly, why would you not, right?
Yeah.
Why would you not?
You're probably going to go 15-2 if you pick that. Maybe 16-1, maybe 17-0.
Man, you guys have some really, really good matchups. So I'm gonna piggyback
Can I
off
guess?
that.
Can I guess what yours is?
You know what? Yeah, you can.
Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
100%.
Classic.
100%. Arizona Cardinals versus Jacksonville Jaguars. They are going to demolish them, bringing me up to 2-1. Hopefully your all's teams loses, and I'll be right back in it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm planning on going undefeated, man. So good
Yeah.
luck. You're already behind the 8 ball. So.
Yeah, I know.
And you took
I'll
our
come
team week 1. That's the ironic part in that.
What did we learn last week? Right? You know, be humble. You know, you may be 2-0,
Yep.
but it's a long season.
Yep. I could go 2-15.
Yeah.
I could absolutely go 2-15.
That
right?
would be. I would bet my left nut that wouldn't happen.
I appreciate the faith in me, man. I know football a little bit better than that. I agree. But no, that's a good pick. I like Shishot's Broncos pick, obviously, at home against the Jets. The Jets are so awful. And yeah, I like my pick, obviously. That's why I picked it. So those are your survivor picks for week 3, guys. Can't wait to see how that unfolds. That is everything that we had for you guys. Again, we appreciate you guys sticking around, listening through the whole thing. Again, like we mentioned earlier, give us feedback. Let us know what you like listening to. Let us know what you don't like listening to. It helps us put out stuff that, actually you want to listen to. So, again, we want to be as interactive as possible because we want to put out what you guys want to hear. And so keep up to date with our Instagram, our TikToks, our Twitters, where we're going to update you on injuries and anything that's important and relevant leading up to Sunday. But anything else you guys want to add?
Yeah, just don't forget we have multiple forms of podcasting. So I know some of you have Spotify, some of you don't have Spotify. So what do we add this week, Shovit?
Anchor FM.
Anchor FM. So
right.
easy. So easy.
Yeah.
All you have to do is type Anchor FM, and we'll send you links all over the place. So just click on it. You don't need an app. You don't need nothing. You can just listen to it right away.
Right.
And for you anti-Apple people, we also are on Google Podcasts.
That's
Google
right.
Podcast.
Android Bros. Shout out to the Android Bros.
All 5 of you out
Yeah,
there.
they don't deserve a lot of shout outs, and there's not many of them, but whatever.
Yeah. I hate those green messages.
Dude, they're so annoying.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely, guys. Give us a listen no matter where we're at. YouTube, obviously, we have the video we put out there as well. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for tuning in. We are the only Playbook. See you next time.
Bye.